Hey everybody, welcome and thank you for joining us on the Bellator 170 conference call. On today's call, we've got Bellator President Scott Coker, Tito Ortiz, Chael Sonnen, Brennan Ward, and Paul Daley. The event takes place at the Forum in Los Angeles and airs on Spike TV Saturday, January 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern. For those media members coming in for the fight, we'll be kicking off Fight Week schedule Wednesday, January 18th, so please plan your travel accordingly. With that, I'll have Scott make some opening comments, and then we'll get right into the questions for the fighters.
Hey, thanks, Danny. What a great way to start 2017. We have an exciting year ahead for Bellator. We have some great announcements coming up. But there's no place I'd rather be than at the Forum in Los Angeles on January 21st watching these two guys compete. Chael Sonnen is a legend. Tito Ortiz is probably the catalyst that saved mixed martial arts with his popularity and his fighting ability through the 2000s. I'd say late 90s into the 2000s. And we're going to have a competition, I think, that's going to be fantastic. And then when you talk about, exciting fighters, Paul Daley always comes to mind, as well as Brennan Ward. Two guys have been competing for Bellator since 2012. Now the two sluggers are going to meet in a fight that could potentially have title implications at 170. I'd like to thank Kevin Kay at Spike TV for what you guys know that if it wasn't for him, I'm not sure where mixed martial arts would be today. He's the one that greenlit, The Ultimate Fighter back in 2005. And I don't think he gets enough credit for it, but Spike TV has always been a supporter of mixed martial arts at the highest level and has continued to do so with Bellator. I'd like to also thank Light Beer for Miller, our title sponsor, Dave & Buster's Monster Energy Drink, and as well as I'd like to thank Andy Foster for the California State Athletic Commission for always giving us the support and doing a great job regulating the event. And so I wish everybody good luck, and it should be a fantastic event on January 21st at the Los Angeles Forum. Thanks, Danny.
So with that, we'll open it right up for questions for the four fighters as well as Scott. Again, if you have questions, please press *1 on your keypad. Operator, you can give it to the first question.
Our first question comes from the line of Steve Juen with MMA Mania.
Thank you, Operator. This first question is for Paul Semtex Daley. We had a chance to talk before he was scheduled to face Derek Anderson at Bellator 163. He made the weight, but the fight didn't happen. So I want to ask Paul, what's going to take place this time? Is he going to do anything different in his preparation, and what does he expect from Brennan Ward? Hello, is Paul there?
Hello? Paul, your phone's on mute. Okay, yeah, like I said, things didn't go according to plan. For the last event I was scheduled to compete on, I made the weight, but it was what happened after making the weight, which was a problem. Problems that we had have been ironed out. We're on target to make the weight again, not so drastically this time, and we should have everything, back on point as it has been, and ready to compete in what is going to be the most exciting fight on the card.
Well, speaking of that excitement, the next question is for Brennan Ward. Both of you have definitely delivered exciting knockouts in recent performances, so I want to know what your expectation is of the fight and if you think it'll be a quick showcase.
Yeah, they don't just match two guys up like me and Paul for no reason. On a card like this, that could be arguably one of the biggest, probably going to be the biggest card of the year. That would be one of the biggest Bellator cards of all time. Like, you're not just gonna put any matchups on there. They're putting this matchup on there for a reason because they know fireworks are gonna go off, and they know this fight's not going the distance. Me and Paul, we end fights. It's what we do. So, we're gonna put on, like he said, the best fight, the most exciting fight of the night for sure.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both. And one question each, quick, for Tito and Chael, starting with the bad guy. I know that clip has been going around of you wrestling Tito Ortiz back in college. So, what do you expect from Tito compared to the Tito you saw back then?
Look, Tito's a great fighter. I mean, he fights different than he was a hell of a wrestler. I caught him in one position. I'm not hanging my hat on that, and I don't believe that position is going to happen again. But man, I'm a huge fan. You know, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be able to compete again. I'm pumped to be in there with a Hall of Famer like Tito. I'm going to do everything I can to beat him, but I don't dismiss how good this guy is. And I've never missed a Paul Daley fight, man. Paul's one of my favorite fighters to watch. I can tell you, as impressed as I am with Paul Daley, Brendan Ward is not. All the scary and the fireworks and the power in the hands I see in Paul Daley, Brendan Ward doesn't give a damn. I can't wait to watch those two, man. I can tell you, as a fan, I'm going to have to focus in between those guys getting done and me walking to the ring, because I'm going to be sitting back enjoying that match.
We're looking forward to all those fights, and we're looking forward to Tito as well. So to the bad boy himself, I want to know, it's been a while since we saw you in there with Liam McGeary in that title fight. So from then to now, what's changed, and what are you going to show us?
Well, you know, I've been at work now for 3 years. I came from UFC. I retired from UFC to get away from the contract. Kevin Case and Bellator gave an opportunity to reinvigorate my fight career, and I want to leave on my own terms. I want to be respected the way I've been respected with Bellator. Scott Coker has done an amazing job with the company already, and I sat back and thinking about what would be my last fight to call it a day. And all of a sudden I'm watching Spike, watching Bellator, and Chael Sonnen comes screaming on the thing, calling me a coward, calling me he wants to fight me, and I swear there's never been a bigger smile on my face. I was already getting ready to fight in November. I'm not sure who the opponent was going to be, but I was getting in shape. I've been training now for almost 4 months. This is probably one of the longest camps I've had, but I've been able to kind of taper down on a few weeks, about 3 weeks ago, and get back into it this last week really hard again. I have the end of this week and the end of next week, and then it's time to showcase my skills. Chael says he's fighting me because he's jealous. That's the wrong way to have an idea, to have somebody come in and fight against another person. I'm going in to get redemption. To me, Chael's my enemy. I ain't here. This is no game. This is nothing fun. This is what I do for a living. I train. I go in and I try to hurt my opponent. I'm not going to wait for the referee to rip me off. I'm going to keep punching. I'm going to keep throwing elbows. I know what I need to do. I need to defend the takedown. I need to watch out for the punches. I need to watch out for the front guillotine. I know all the moves that Chael does, which are only the 3 moves he does do. And my job is to go in there and destroy Chael Sonnen on January 21st, 2 days before my birthday, because he embarrassed me on my birthday. And that's my job. This is no fun game for me. This is something that I love to do, and that's to destroy somebody. So on January 21st, as I say, after I watch Daley and Brandon go toe-to-toe in the middle of the cage, I'll be in there doing the same thing and try to get fight of the night. I want to make one of the best fights possible. I hope Chael's in great shape. I hope his last 3 years he's taken off. The last 3 nights last 3 fights he's been knocked out or stopped hasn't really hurt his mind that bad, because when I'm on top of him, he's going to literally shit himself, because I'm going to put my elbows through his face. And like I say, this is no joke. This is no game. This is something that I'm going to try to sell the fight. This is serious to me, because my family's watching, my kids are watching, all my fans are watching, and I've given so much for this. I sacrificed everything for this. I sacrificed my Thanksgiving. I sacrificed my Christmas. I sacrificed my New Year's, and it was hard. It's been tough. It's the longest time I've done this since 2006, when I got the biggest ratings on Spike TV with The Ultimate Fighter when I fought Ken Shamrock. And I think on January 21st, the attitude's not going to change at all, and I'm going to try to put my elbow through Chael Sonnen's face. Thank you.
Our next question comes from the line of Jack Incarzaio, the Boston Herald.
Hi, this first question is for Chael. Chael, of all the guys that you've kind of verbally dueled with in your career, how would you size up how Tito is in that arena? We've seen some split-screen interviews you guys have done face-to-face. You just heard him. How does he compare to other guys that you've gone back and forth with verbally?
Man, it's painful. I've always enjoyed Tito. It was painful just listening to read through that list of notes. He just rattled off all of his bullets right there in one setting, and I think he asked you to go to the bathroom on him. That was a little bit weird. Man, I don't care. I never thought about Tito Ortiz. I didn't come to this organization to fight Tito Ortiz. I've been chasing Vanderlei Silva around. Vanderlei's busy until the summer. They called me and asked me if I'd fight Tito on January 21st. I didn't have anything else going on, so I said yes.
In general, beyond this fight, what are your goals for your run in Bellator?
I want to compete in Bellator, man. I want to be the champion. I want to get to the top and compete with all the guys. I want to find a weight class. I'd like to do it at 205. But I think there's opportunity at 185 too. And now we've got some signings at heavyweight and some of these catchweight matches. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity over there. I can tell you as far as training and working hard and being prepared and focusing on myself, that's what I do. And, I do it every day. And I will bring my skills, and if they're enough, I'll win. And if they're not, I won't. That's the way that this sport is played. And I'm just looking forward to competing with these guys, whoever it is. But I want to win these matches, whoever I'm matched up with.
Coming back to compete in California with your history of that athletic commission and the out-of-competition tests you've already taken, how did you kind of look at that process? Were you surprised to get the out-of-competition testing? Was there an understanding it was going to be part of the deal to get you back in California? Were there any hiccups?
I was surprised by it. I was at an event to commentate, and I got pulled in the back. But that's why the tests work. The out-of-competition test it's why they work. But I was not ready to be tested or know I was going to be tested. And no, I haven't thought about it a whole lot. I mean, it's part of it. You got to understand when you're a guy with my background that's just coming off a suspension, that's the way it goes. You're going to have focus, and you're going to have more tests. You're going to have more tests and regulation than other guys have, but that's just fair, man.
You've been so open about your history with performance-enhancing drug issues, and I wonder kind of what message you'd have to fans as far as why they can be confident that there isn't going to be any disruption to this fight and this run-up.
Well, I would never take a drug unless I thought it would enhance my performance. I've always thought that's a little bit of a weird term, but the rules are the rules, and there's things that are inbounds and out of bounds, and that's it. I lived on the other side of the tracks. You came in clean on fight night, and that doesn't happen anymore. Now it's around the clock, and there's out of competition like you brought up. I mean, the rules have changed, and you got to change with them. I was a little slow to get around to that, but I'm there now.
Okay, and finally, can you just size up kind of the marketplace as you see it since you've left the UFC and since they've been purchased and all of these longtime fixtures are leaving that organization and Bellator is positioning itself as it is with these big fights on free TV. Just quickly your thoughts kind of on the state of the marketplace in 2017 and what if any changes you see.
Look, I'm brand new. I only know two guys in the office at Bellator. I know Coker and I know Danny and I know Koga. I know three people. That's how brand new I am at this. I've been to two Bellator shows, one at the Mohegan Sun, one on the other side of the country in San Jose, and they were both sold out. The one in San Jose, I'm sitting there, minding my own business, and down the ramp comes the greatest heavyweight of all time in Fedor Emelianenko. Coker signed him and didn't even say anything to anybody. I mean, the place is packed. The ratings are going high. Tito talked about it. He's got the highest rated fight, but he's got 4, 5, and 6 too. I mean, Tito does a great job. He brings a lot of attention, and the buzz around Bellator. I've been blown away. I wanted to come to Bellator when I saw Ken Shamrock walk the ramp and Road Warrior Animal came out, and just the whole big production. I thought, man, this is awesome. And but the fans, the way they've come to it, I mean, I've been on both sides of the country, the Mohegan Sun, and then in San Jose. There's no more geography you could possibly go and stay within the states, and they were both sold out. I couldn't believe, the attraction that Bellator has come, the household name that Bellator has come. I used to tell people I was in the UFC, I'd explain what that was. I tell people I did MMA, I'd have to explain what that was. I tell people I'm in Bellator, everybody knows exactly what it is. They know Tito and I are fighting, man. It's fun. Tito and I wrestled in that college wrestling match, and Tito can tell you there was 80 people there, tops. Nobody cared. We worked our asses off twice a day, every day, cut weight, lived right, went to school. It was a big sacrifice just to show off in front of 80 people, to show off in front of a sold-out arena, a records-breaking show. It's fun, man. And we get Daley and Ward to entertain us before we have to go out and take care of it.
To Tito. Tito, first, do you want to say anything about Chael's comments on your comments earlier, kind of indicating you're reading from a script and all of that?
Same old stuff, man. Chael just always reaches for, grasping for roots, grasping for any type of branch he possibly can. This guy knows he can keep it off a little more than he can chew. And I'm going to show that on January 21st. You know, it's hard for him to listen to me talk. It is what it is. You know, I've been through 20 years of competition. I've won world titles. I stepped in that cage over and over and over again. Proof is in the pudding. And I'm sitting here, I'm listening to the tone that Chael has, and sounds like he's drowning. And on January 21st inside the cage, he's going to be drowning in his own blood. That's all I have to say.
I told you he was out of bullets. I warned you ahead of time.
Our next question comes from the line of Mark Piokas with Wombat Sports.
Thanks for taking my call. First of all, Chael, congratulations on Celebrity Apprentice last night. Great to see you on the debut there. How's it
Couldn't
been
have
for
happened
you
to a better guy.
Yeah, and how's it for you to be able to balance the promotion for the Celebrity Apprentice, doing your ESPN gig, doing the podcast? How's it been for you to balance all that in terms of your training? Yeah, I've seen fighters have kind of a full plate and not be able to handle that. How are you handling that, Chael?
Yeah, man, I hate days off. I hate it more than anything. When I look at my calendar for the next day, every night when I go to bed, I hate it if there's some gaps in there. So as far as training goes, I'm in the gym 3 hours a day. It's an hour in the morning, maybe even a little bit less. It's 2 hours in the afternoon, maybe even a little bit less. With shower, visit time with the guys, and the whole bit, I'm out the door in 3.5 hours tops. So that leaves me another 20 hours in the day, and I like to fill it. I don't like to sleep a lot, and I mean, that's just the way it goes. I like to stay busy, but nothing has interfered with preparation for the competition. I haven't missed a practice, a run, a workout, a sparring session. I go every day, whether I have a fight coming up. And I hear guys talk about fight camps, good for them. I don't run it like that. I go to practice every day, no matter what, twice a day, and there are parts where I'll pick up the intensity and work a little bit harder. There's parts where if I get tired, I'll go get a drink of water. You know, so that changes a little bit, but it's no different for me, man. I'm ready to go. I like doing this. That's it.
I know you stated, Chael, that you like to that you've actually had a little bit more of a looser camp where you've been training with a lot of different other fighters, especially since you've been doing a lot of traveling. How's that been for you to be able to have access to some elite fighters in other parts of the country?
You know, I love working out with other guys. I love going to different gyms, and that's something new to me. I didn't used to travel and have some of these opportunities, so I was just locked at home in Portland, Oregon. And we had a hotbed out here, man. We had, you know, way back, we had Dan Henderson and Randy Couture and Evan Tanner and Matt Lindley. You know, I could name drop for you, and it would really impress you. We had a really great system out here. But it dried up. Some of those guys retired. Some of them moved away. Some of those gyms closed down. So travel has been great. I've got a lot of rounds in, a lot of days with Glover Teixeira, you know, workouts with George St. Pierre. And that's just to name drop and impress you with names. There's a bunch of hammers out there that you've never heard of that you will eventually. And I'm getting good work in. And, you know, I'm learning from these guys. The one thing that I try to do, I copied it from Randy Couture, but I swear one of the reasons that he was able to go to 47 years old was he always trained with the kids. He'd be in high school workout rooms doing the wrestling practice. And it was very hard for the next generation to ever get ahead of him because he always trained with that younger generation. So, yeah, I spend a lot of time with those kids. I go to the Powell Boxing Club. They're 14 to 19 years old, and I got my own practices on top of that. And, you know, look, I'm doing the best I can, but there's nowhere where I feel like it's a finished product. I'm not positive I can take Tito down. I'm not positive I can outbox. Everything's got to get better. I got to get stronger, faster, better, more technique, better strategies, and it takes time. And I'm in the gym trying to learn that stuff.
I think it's a little late. You know, I think we got like 2 weeks left.
Our next question comes from the line of Steven Morocco with MMA Junkie.
Hey, Tito. Just a general one to start out with. Was 2016 a good year for you?
2016 was probably one of the best years I've had with my family. You know, my girlfriend Amber Miller stepped up like a mother, you know, for my 2 kids. One for my 3 boys, Jake and Boston. My 2 boys I have full custody of. Family has been a huge thing that I missed out as a kid, and I want to make sure my children never miss out on that. So 2016 has been great. Bellator is cheap. That's really respect. Stands triple definitely respect. And it's still a factor. I look at it. It was a healing year for me. I was able to fish a lot. I was able to start my camp again. beginning of August for this fight, thinking I was going to fight in November. But at the same time, I think 2016 has been an invigorating year for my mind, for my body, and for my family, like no other. I'm very, very thankful for the things I've had, and I'm just excited to look forward to see what's going to happen in 2017, not only for myself, for my career, but for Bellator, and see how far Bellator is going to expand. What they did in 2016 blew my mind. I mean, some of the places they were able to visit, I wish I was able to go with them, but I think 2017 is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, where Bellator takes over and all the fighters around the world come to Bellator because they're treated with respect, as I was.
Is your retirement in any way contingent upon beating Chael?
No, not at all. This retirement is well due. 20 years of competition has pretty much and not even 20 years of competition, so I think I'd still be fighting if it wasn't for the surgeries. My biggest enemy has been my surgeries. I have had ACL replaced my left knee, ACL replaced my right knee, 50% of my meniscus taken out of my right knee, L4, 5, S1 fused in my lower back, C6, C7 fused in my neck, C5, C4 disc replacement, C4, C3 fused, reattached retina on my left eye, ganglion cyst removed in my left hand. Probably about 26, 27 concussions, thousands of stitches. I've been through the grinder. My biggest enemy, as I said, has been my body. For this camp, I'm very, very lucky. Yeah, I get a little sore neck here and there. Of course, I mean, you have a fused neck, you got a disc replacement, you're going to get sore. But I've been able to put the work in. I'm doing 3-a-days on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I'm doing 4-days on Tuesday, Thursdays. I'm doing 2-a-days on Saturdays, and I call it a week. And it's been, gosh, like I say, almost 4 months now that I've been going at it. And there has been a couple times during those weeks that I have to take a day off, take a 2 days off, but it was just to make my body recover. It's nice to be healthy when your mind is right. When your mind is right and you're getting built up by your training camp, you don't come home and you're getting ripped down by your partner. See, I come home, my partner, she's putting me on a pedestal. She's helping me. I have nothing to ask. She asked me, you hungry? You need anything? I mean, this is a partner that anybody who's in a relationship as a fighter, they need a partner who supports them, because it's so hard after you go through sparring with guys, wrestling with guys all day, every day, and you come home, the last thing you want to hear is your girlfriend saying, where have you been? I mean, just stupid stuff like that. Now it's just like my life is so perfect that after this fight's over with, I want to enjoy my children, and I don't want to miss out on them growing up. After a long day, my son Journey comes up to me and goes, Dad, I missed you. And I was like, I was only gone for 2 hours, dude. He's like, no, but you're gone every single day, 3 times a day. I'm like, don't worry, son. After this fight, it's over. Don't worry about it. My oldest son, Jacob, he's the same thing. He's 14 now. I missed out for his ages from the age of 2 to 7 years old because I was the world champion at those times, and I was doing the 3-a-days. I was up in Big Bear for 9 weeks. That stuff is tough. That stuff is hard. I don't want to miss out my children's childhood, and so that's one of the reasons why I'm making this my last one.
So one more question, if I could get you to weigh on this. I know she, very close to her over the years. Do you think Chris Cyborg could have done anything different to avoid the situation that she's currently in with UFC right now?
Yeah, I told her to take the fight. She said, Tito, I've been working really, really hard over the last 3 years. I've been cutting a lot of weight. I want to enjoy the Christmas time. I want to go on vacation. And I understood that. Personally, I understood that. The situation she's going through right now, from what I've heard through to her attorney, and from what I've heard from her, it was strictly from her doctor. So I have no input on that at all. I don't know. And I'm not going to state any facts. I'm not going to state any statements at all about it because I know zero about it at all because I've been focusing so much on this fight. My life lives is just for January 21st. That's all I live my life for right now. That's all I do is I train. I do my 20-mile bike ride. I do my stairs. I do my sparring. I do my wrestling. I do my jiu-jitsu. I do my weight training 6 days a week. This is what I do. This is what I'm living for. I want to save the best for last, and this is going to be my last.
Our next question comes from Alex Lee with The Score.
Hi guys, I've got questions for all of you, but I'll start with Paul and Brennan before coming back to Tito and Chael. Paul, last year you had a fight with Josh Koscheck fall through, Do you still see a rematch with him in the future after you take care of business at 170, or have you moved on from wanting to fight Koscheck again?
Yeah, I've moved on from the whole Koscheck fight. For me, it's clear he doesn't want to fight. I think he's enjoying his life now. I hear he's done very well away from the cage, and I don't blame him. When you're sleeping on silk sheets, you don't really want to be getting in the cage with someone like me who's still hungry for the knockouts and entertaining the crowds.
Yeah, it sounds like we might not get that one. Thanks, Paul. Brennan, I want to bring up a little bit of a sensitive subject. So you've had some legal issues outside the cage last year, but still managed to come back, knock out Sada Wad in November. Have those cases been resolved, and has any of this affected your training or preparation for your fight with Paul at Bellator 170?
Yeah, it's no joke that I've been in and out of trouble, for pretty much my whole entire life. But no, man, I've always worked around it. I was in a shitload of trouble when I was in college, and I was able to be, an NCAA national runner-up. I made it this far. I got my act cleaned up. I got those issues resolved. Somehow, dude, I always come out. What seems like a shitty situation, I always turn it around. Come out on top of it. Look at me now. They thought I was going to go away for a while. Ended up beating the case. Now I'm fighting on the biggest card with 3 legends. Paul, Tito, Chael. I mean, come on, man. Everybody knows who these guys are. I'm lucky. I'm so fortunate to be able to turn my life around and fight on these big cards. With guys. I mean, shit. I was watching. Tito. I was fortunate enough to live with Tito and help him train for a fight. Now I'm fighting on the same card as him, and that's a guy I would watch when I was in high school. Shit, Tito, not to age you, bro, but probably younger than high school. You know what I mean? And so yeah, man, legal trouble's behind me. Just gonna turn over a new rock, if you will, and get it done on the 21st, baby.
Thanks, Brennan. Tito, what does it mean to you to hear someone like Brennan, up and coming fighter, good fighter, say something about you? How much you influenced him. What does that mean to you?
Brennan Ward is an awesome individual. The trouble that he's gotten into, we all make mistakes. We all make little child mistakes that we don't think twice on doing. Maybe we should have thought out twice. I've been through the same type of thing myself. Being a bad boy always don't come by just something you're given. I made some mistakes, and I've never made a mistake twice. And I hope Brennan Ward actually looks at some of the things that I've done in my past and going, I'm not going to do those same things, and look at the things that he's done in his past and saying, hey, I'm not going to do those same things also. When Brennan came to stay at my house, man, he was the most gentleman, kind guy, not only to me and my girlfriend, but to my kids also. My kids would be happy and excited just to is Brandon coming back? Is Brandon coming back? I'm like, yeah, hopefully soon. And we're supposed to train for this fight. He's going to come help me, but I know he has his hands full with Paul Daley, so he's getting his work done at home. But there's so many other fighters that do look up to me. You could hear Chael talk about how jealous he is of me, and there's a jealousy factor for him to get a fight with me, and his jealousy got himself into a fight. I just try to pave the way for all these fighters that are up-and-comers the way that I've always wanted to get it done, with respect, integrity, and determination as an athlete. This is a competition, but for me on this fight on January 21st, it's a fight. It's not a wrestling match, as people seen what Flow Wrestling put out there. And when I seen that for the first time was 2 weeks ago, I'd never seen it since that night. I never even knew Chael even shot him with a single arm. I never knew I defended those single and muscle him off me as easy as I did. But when I tied up with him, I saw myself stop for a half a second. He took advantage of it, hit me in a headlock, and put me on my back. I couldn't get off. He was a Greco-Roman guy, working, of course, with Matt Lennon, as he was saying. Randy Couture was his coach at the time, working with Dan Henderson, working those guys over at Quest. The Greco was their number one, and that's what they love to do, dirty box, inside clinch. And it's great to kind of remind myself to those things again, because I'm going to go back, or I went back to my old fight with Randy Couture, and I've looked at the details that I've got, that I've messed up those little positions. But like I say, man, just seeing these young guys that are coming up, it's time to pass the torch on and live my life in a normal fashion and not as a fighter, because I know all the fighters, the guys on the line right now, we sacrifice so much just to entertain the millions of fans that watch on Spike Television.
Thanks a lot, Tito. I just want to pick up on something you said there for my last question for Chael. Chael, he said you might be jealous of him. That's a little bit new. What are your comments on that? Is there any professional jealousy there?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I wanted to be an MMA fighter when I was in college, and to remind you of that timeline, it was a totally different landscape. People weren't watching; they didn't know what it was. Finding it on TV was tough. It survived on the internet, but I knew exactly what it was. And when Tito and I wrestled, he'd already been through the UFC, fought in a tournament. He either won it or he was second. I remember he fought a couple of guys on one night. I was a big Tito fan, and he also stood out. He had the blonde hair. He had tattoos on the back of his arms. I trained some with Tank Abbott, so I knew all about Tito. And, you know, I cheered for him and rooted for him in every one of his fights, all of them except this one, as a matter of fact. So, I mean, yeah, that is true. He got out of college before I did, and he went on and got his opportunities, and I'd always watch him, man. I was always jealous of him. I still think he's had a remarkable career and a run. And, you know, Coker talked about at the beginning of this call, but the sport as a whole stayed alive because of Tito Ortiz and his charisma and some of the stuff he did on top of his fighting ability. So, yeah, man, that's a true statement. I wanted what he had.
We're doing 1952 Band of Adams.
Our next question comes from the line of Susan Singara with MustLoveMMA.com.
Hi there, guys. Thanks for taking my question. I want to start off with Tito. Tito, is there any extra pressure on you since this is your retirement fight?
No pressure. I love when my back's pushed against the wall. When my back's pushed against the wall and people expect me to lose. I'm the underdog. I think I'm a 145 underdog. There's something in me that I love to prove people wrong. It's been my whole life that I'd love to prove people wrong. And not only just to prove people wrong, but the people who support me to prove them right. When I have my hand raised, about 10:45 p.m. on January 21st, I'll look over at Chael. He'll be in a bloody pulp. And do I be a respectful enough man to shake his hand? Possibly. But everything has gone through my mind of what I needed to do. All my camp has gone perfect. Everything has gone the way I wanted to do. I've in the best shape I've been in since 2006. I just got to make sure I make these next 2 weeks count and just stay on the high horse. I really don't. The pressure doesn't bother me. I've been doing this for so damn long. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this longer than probably every single one of these people that are interviewing that have been working in MMA.
How would you like to be remembered then?
I want to be remembered as a fighter with integrity, a fighter who did it his way, who has respect because he wanted to push the envelope for the fighters. A fighter who came out dressing nice, and talking the talk and walking the walk. I think integrity is a huge word for me that I've kept through my career, and I've never stepped on anybody to get ahead. I've always helped people as I came up. And if any of those people ever try to pull me down, I'd let go of them and let them fall down. I've always been a very giving person through my whole life, and I just want to be remembered as a fighter with integrity, and inspired many other fighters or many fans who've watched the sport.
Thank you. My other question now is for Chael. Chael, why do you have what it takes to beat Tito?
Look, I'm a competitor. I'm going to go out and go hard. The moment that ref says fight, I will. And I'm going to bring a fight, and that's it. My skills are my skills, and Tito's skills are Tito's skills. And one of us is better, but it's been my contention from day one that that's me. It's been my contention from day one that I could have beat him and all the guys that he beat. He never would have been champion if I would have been around. And I'm either right or I'm not. But I've been telling my friends and my family and my coaches this since the 90s. So now it's time to walk out and prove it. And I'm either going to prove that I was the best fighter in the world long before I was ever given my opportunity, or I wasn't. But that's what this match means to me. That's why I'm going after some of these guys. I had guys, and Tito isn't one of these guys, but I had guys that avoided me for years, and I couldn't get my opportunity. I had guys in big shows that were stopping me from a managerial level from getting into the shows because I would have taken their spot, and it pissed me off, and I'm still mad about it, and I am jealous of what Tito did, and that's just the way it is. I'm happy for Tito. I was a big Tito fan, and I'll always be a Tito fan, but my contention isn't going to change. I could have stopped him then, and I will stop him now.
Just another reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. That's star and the number 1. We'll take a couple more questions. Our next question comes from the line of Steven Morocco.
Hey, Chael, to follow up on that, calling out guys that were avoiding you, what's your understanding on Vanderlei Silva's comeback at this point?
So I don't get to know anything. I was live in the building on the microphone and didn't know Fedor was about to walk the ramp. So one thing Bellator can do is keep a secret. I'm only as good as the information that I read, and usually when there's smoke, there's fire in this business. I believe, based on things I've read, that Vanderlei Silva is tied up or is soon to be under contract with Bellator. I also believe, and this is public, I just haven't confirmed it, so I do believe it's true, that his suspension or whatever it is he went through that was delaying him from getting a license is almost up. I think it's up in May of this year. So, look, the next time I see Vanderlei Silva, I'm going to be fighting Vanderlei Silva, and he will tell you the same thing. And the goal is that will be inside of a ring on an appropriate time. But the next time I see him, I'm going to be fighting him.
And Scott, do you want to give us an official word on that, where Vanderlei Silva's at in his injury recovery, and also officially with the promotion?
Yeah. There's two parts of that question. One is he is still injured. He was going to fight in the Ryzen tournament, and then he pulled out because of the accident that he was in recently that has not healed yet. But it looks like he'll be ready to go sometime in the summer. And Vanderlei Silva is currently under contract with Bellator, so we have him for multi-fights, multi-years. So I think it's just a matter of time, and hopefully we'll be able to put that fight together.
And Chael says he wants to get into the title mix. What would he have to do to convince you that's a reality for him at this point?
I mean, it all starts with the 21st. That's something that we can talk about after the fight on the 21st.
And do you see him as a 205er or a 185er or something else?
That's really up to Chael. I mean, the one thing in talking to Chael, before we all agreed to this contract was that he said, look, I'll fight, whoever you want in the 205s, 185s. I can fight heavyweight. I'll fight Fedor for you. I'll fight Rampage Jackson for you. And I believe him. I don't think it matters to him. He's a professional athlete, professional fighter, and he'll fight anybody that we throw in front of him. But that's something that Stephen, we could talk about after this event, because this is a big fight for him, and it's a big fight for both of them. And let's see what happens on the 21st.
Our next question comes from the line of Jack Encarnacio with the Boston Herald.
I just wanted to ask Tito the same question I'd asked Chael. Tito, looking back out on your career and the changes in the business since you got in, what do you make of where the industry is at, the industry you're going to leave in retirement, with the UFC with new ownership, Bellator positioned as it is? What do you see out there as far as issues and the landscape?
Well, the landscape in general, I think it's skyrocketing. And you've seen how great Bellator has been going across the world, not only just here in the United States, as Chael was talking about, going from the Marina Sun all the way to, San Jose being sold out, but going across the world and being sold out. It's just amazing seeing how many MMA fans have an opportunity to see Bellator live. Scott Coker stepped up, and he's making this happen for this company. I mean, he did the same thing with Strikeforce. That's why UFC bought it out. Now fighters get an opportunity to be exposed to all MMA fan base, and not to be held down, not to be kind of guided the way they want to be guided. Fighters have their wings spread out and they're able to do what they want to do, just as long as they fight and put on shows and put on great fights for the fans to watch. And like I said, Scott Coker did an amazing job, and I just wish the best for the company in general. And maybe when this fight is over, I do come back and help out with some of the promotion. Go back to build fighters and make the next legends of MMA.
You knew, of course, the Fertitta as well and the Zuffa era and had your ups and downs with them. But do you have any thoughts on the new regime over there?
I don't know any of them at all. I know that Dana's still there. That's behind me now. You know, I'm not a person who really letting anybody live in my mind rent free. I really just kind of keep it to my heart that, you know, everything happens for a reason. I was meant to go somewhere else. I was meant to have my wings spread where I was able to have free for all, and at Bellator I'm able to do that. You know, I'm very thankful for Lorenzo Fertitta and Frank Fertitta for giving me the opportunity that I had. Kevin K for what he did for Spike Television. He gave the opportunity for all of us MMA fighters to be seen in household names. If it wasn't for the Ultimate Fighter, that would never happen because of Kevin K. And as Scott did say, he doesn't get a lot of recognition because of that. But, you know, at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. Where I was, where I am, and where I'm going to be is just going to be in history. And I'm just excited for the future.
Your next question comes from the line of Bob Carson with Carson's Quarter Podcast.
Hi, thank you. My question is for Tito. Tito, both you and Chael are known as fighters who can compete with each other on camera for effectively, you know, promoting fights and trying to mess with their opponents mentally, although I think Chael is particularly renowned for those tactics. We've seen you trade insults and threats on Bellator broadcasts, but it seems like you've been more agitated and angry than Chael has during those exchanges. Has Chael managed to get inside your head?
No, I think everyone on this call could get inside my head without a doubt. It's so damn big. I just want to go ahead and give it a little side joke. No, you know what? It's not the fact that he's got inside my head. It's just the fact that he's disrespected everything I work for, and I really take that to heart. I'm fueled on emotions. My whole career has been fueled on emotions. Everybody that I fought against, I've been fueled on emotions. If I don't have the emotions when I fight, I don't fight the same way. I need someone to piss me off. I need someone to try to bully me. And Chael's trying to bully me, and I hate bullies. I've always hated bullies, and that's my job, what I'm going to do. For the first time in my career, I'm going to go in there as a bully, and I'm going to bully the bully because all of this little geeks out there, all the little kids who just got sick of the bullies, I'm going to do it for them. And I think at the end of the day, you know, talk is cheap. Chael has talked himself into the biggest fights in the world and never really responded well when he's on his back. When the shot's been defended and he's getting elbows, he's turned his back, he gave his back up, and absorb the punches. And nothing's going to change on January 21st. He's not fighting some chumps. I'm a recognized MMA fighter for a long, long time, since the beginning. I fought the top-tier guys since the beginning. I never had any gimme fights. I think the only gimme fight I ever had was Stephen Bonner, and I fought him with one eye, with a detached retina, and I still whooped his ass. This fight is not going to change at all. I'm a fighter fueled on emotions. That's plain and simple.
Chael, you've obviously been a little less active over the years, the last few years, at least when it comes to competing in MMA. Do you have any concerns that Tito's familiarity with the Bellator cage and relatively busy the last couple of years will afford him any type of advantage on fight night?
I think it might matter. I don't know. People talk about ring rust. I don't know a damn thing about it. Since I was 9 years old, I would go to tournaments every Saturday. I have 4 or 5 matches. I'd have 20 matches a month. The one thing I hate about MMA is that there's 3 matches a year. I don't understand that. I don't like that at all. I'm ready to go constantly, multiple guys in one day. I've never liked that about MMA. And people say there's something to ring rust. I've done my best to fill that void. I go in, I spar, I simulate this. I've never stopped. I enter grappling where you're slapping hands, you're warming up in the back, you're going hard with a guy and trying to beat him. I've done everything I can do to simulate it. I don't think that that's going to be a real thing for me, but I've heard guys talk about it. I really don't know. I can tell you this. I've worked hard. I'm ready. I know what I'm getting into. I'll start winding down, getting the weight cut under control. Eventually, they're going to call my name, and when they do, I will put my mouthpiece in and I will make that walk.
Our last question comes from the line of Jay Pagliaro with NBC Sports Radio.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. This is for questions first for Tito. Tito, obviously, you've been so ingrained in the MMA community for a long time. Nobody ever really fully walks away. So what's your plan to stay in the sport after your retirement is done?
That's one of the things I've thought about a little bit, but I've been so focused on this fight. Everybody keeps asking me what I'm going to do after this. I'm doing after this, and I'm like, I really don't know. Right now, all I'm thinking about is getting my hand raised in the cage on January 21st. I'm living in this right now. I'm living in this time right this second. And I couldn't give you a complete answer. Do I go do a fishing show? Do I come back and help Bellator? Do I do a management company with Primetime 360 with George Prazian, help build the next legends of MMA fighters? I mean, there's so many opportunities that I could do, that I want to do, but I'm not really having a solidified answer that I can give you. I can't really sit there and say I'm going to do this because I'm not sure. I haven't lived past January 21st. This is all I've been thinking about is this fight. This is all I've been training about this fight. So I've been living, eating, is competing against Chael Sonnen, going in there and trying to hurt him. That's my job. That's what I'm going to do and get my hand raised.
Thank you, Tito. Next question is for Chael. Chael, I know you're not one to look past this fight, obviously, for good reason. But next fight, I know you said Wanderlei Silva is on your hit list. But you have a choice between Wanderlei Silva or a potential title shot. Which do you take?
Title shot. I mean, look, Wanderlei is my entire driving factor. I thought I was done with this sport. My race was ran. But I got unfinished business with Wanderlei Silva. But if you're asking me about a title, I'll take the title, and then I'll go fight Wanderlei Silva. But, title shots are hard to come by. Wanderlei, that's a personal thing, It would be tough. Emotionally, it might be Wanderlei, but I would think that through logically, and I would take the title shot.
All right, great. At this time, we're just going to wrap things up. We'll have some closing remarks from each of the fighters. We'll get started with Paul Daley if you want to give your closing remarks, and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, it's been entertaining listening to Chael and Tito. I do want to say that, Tito is one of the reasons I'm also in the sport, From the UK, Tito was always on everybody's lips when mentioning the Ultimate Fighter, and he inspired me to dye my hair blonde, which was a little outrageous at the time. A little black kid with a London accent running around with blonde hair, so thanks Tito for that. But yeah, looking forward to Bellator 170. Both me and Brendan Ward are going to bring it. It's going to be an entertaining fight. He has a wrestling, he also has a knockout power. I'm always in against wrestlers. I like to think I have solid takedown defense, and my whole career has been built on knocking people out, so it should be a great fight. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Paul, and then we'll go to Brennan Ward for your closing remarks.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure talking to everybody. Like what Paul said, man, we're going to go in there and fireworks are going to go off in our fight. I know, Chael and Tito we're going to throw down. I just, I don't hope that we're going to live up to the hype behind these two fights, man. I know we're going to live up to the hype, and I know that us four, we're going to put on a show that people are going to remember for a long time. So, man, I know all four of us are going to bring it, and I couldn't be more excited.
Thanks, Brennan. And then Chael.
On January 21st, the bad boy and the bad guy are going to fight. Look, this is the biggest fight in Bellator history. This is the biggest fight of 2017. We are going to set the bar, and everybody else is going to chase us after this. I am a numbers guy. I had all of the numbers before I left the sport. I lost them all when I retired, but had I not retired, I would still have those numbers. And it's like Marshall Mathers once said, they can walk like me, talk like me, dress, act, not give a dang like me, and they just might be the next best thing, but they are not quite me.
Thanks, Chael. Tito?
Well, I think Chael was just talking about me. I appreciate that very, very much. And you'll never be like me. On January 21st, you're going to see what Ground Pound is truly like. I want to thank everybody for being on this call. This is my last time I'll be stepping in the cage. I'm excited. I'm in shape. I'm ready to kill. This fight is not a competition. This fight is not a wrestling match. I'm going to try to destroy Chael Sonnen. No hard feelings. This is competition, but at the same time, this is survival of the fittest. Paul Daley, Brennan Ward, you guys, wish luck to you guys the rest of your camp. Chill on doing the training so you don't get injured. And I expect you to step in the cage and fight. Expect for a war, dude. You better be ready to fight for your life, because that's what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for my life. On January 21st, people are going to see the best of Tito Ortiz. Scott Coker, guys, I appreciate everything you've done for me. I'm about to like a star I am, man. And this is going to be an amazing, amazing fight. Thank you, guys. And once again, let's make America great again.
Well, there you have it, guys. If you're in the LA area, tickets are now on sale. Limited tickets do remain, and the fight will air live and free on Spike January 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you guys at the forum. Have a great day.
That concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect your lines.